406.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 411 from 406. My name is Chewie. How are you this evening, folks? Hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. I am coming back to you, obviously, tonight, solo. My brother Pip and I are going to be recording here, hopefully, very, very shortly. We both saw the latest entry into the Halloween franchise, Halloween Kills, and I think we're going to get together and discuss our thoughts and kind of do a review of that movie. I'm not sure if we're going to kind of do a multi-hour deep dive, but we will certainly give you our thoughts. So I won't go into a ton of my thoughts on that tonight because I'm going to save that for that conversation. But I did want to jump on tonight and record for a few minutes my thoughts about fandoms and sequels and franchises. This is top of mind right now because of some of the, quite frankly, some of the hate that Halloween Kills is getting. Some of the criticisms of this movie, I think let me take a step back. I enjoyed this movie. Again, I won't really go into a ton of detail. I want to save that for the conversation with Pip. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. It's by far, not even close, a perfect film. So some of the criticisms of it are completely valid. Here's the one that I don't quite understand, though. I was having an argument the other night with a guy on Twitter, and he continued to, like, his opening salvo was, "Oh my God, the plot is terrible, the acting is terrible, blah 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 blah." And my response to that was, well, like, have you never seen a fucking Halloween movie? Like that's what the overwhelming majority of horror movies are not really known, in my opinion, for their outstanding acting or their outstanding screenplay or the that's just not what they're known for, in my opinion. A horror movie, for the most part, I can only speak for myself. A horror movie for me is kind of turn your brain off and just have enjoy the hack and slash. That's what I really enjoy. I love most of the Halloween franchise, most of the Friday the 13th, most the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like these movies are the movies that I grew up with. Those are my childhood. Those what we would consider slasher movies, right? Those are not, quote, good films in general. They are slasher movies. They are horror films. Halloween Kills, again, there was a big body count. There were some really good effects. There was some really good gory looking kills. And for me, it was consistent with the Halloween franchise. It was consistent with the movie that it followed. It was a good sequel, in my opinion, to 2018's Halloween. So I won't say anything more about Halloween or Halloween Kills because, again, I want to save that conversation for with Pip. I'm not sure when we're going to drop this episode versus that one. As I'm recording this, I'm actually on my way to pick up my son from his girlfriend's house, which is about a half hour away. And we are scheduled to record that podcast where we talk about Halloween Kills tomorrow evening. So again, I'm not quite sure, kind of with production schedules and editing when they're going to drop. The other kind of fandom that I've really been giving a lot of thought to recently is the Star Wars fandom. This continues to come up at least in my world and in, Facebook groups and Twitter and even in some conversations, it continues to come up, and it absolutely boggles my mind the absolute hate that I am seeing for the Disney sequels. Now, I have to preface this by saying, Pip and I recorded, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours worth of podcasts about those 3 films, where we essentially sat down and ripped those films to shreds. We were very critical of a couple of those films, specifically The Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker. But it just absolutely blows my mind how much hate those movies get. Now, I'm not going to sit here and suggest that they are great films. I'm not going to suggest that they are better than the original trilogy. But again, I can't believe that there seem to be so few fans, quote unquote, out there that cannot wrap their mind around the fact that I might like something different than you like, or you might like something different than I like. At the end of the day, these movies, specifically talking about the Star Wars movies, are movies about stories from outer space. That's what they are. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I ran across a meme the other day where it was a picture of, the text said something to the effect of the jokes in the sequels are so terrible, blah blah blah, and it showed a picture of Yoda hitting R2D2 from The Empire Strikes Back on Dagobah, and the text across the bottom of the meme said something to the effect of, meanwhile, a Sesame Street puppet is hitting a tin can with a stick, or something to that effect. The idea being, hey guys, let's not forget, these films that we're putting on a pedestal. There's some really silly shit when you look at them objectively. There's some really, really silly stuff in those movies as well. From Ewoks to Jar Jar Binks to Puppet Yoda to, again, these are some of the original trilogy, some of my all-time favorite films. But I can be objective and say that they're kind of hokey, right? Hokey religions and ancient weapons, right? So I don't know. It has really been kind of really bothering me, and I actually find myself defending the prequels and the sequels. Again, not that I'm suggesting that they are better than the original trilogy, because I don't think on any metric they are, but that's my opinion. And if somebody else thinks they are better films or enjoys them more than the original trilogy, well, then who the fuck am I to tell them that they're wrong? And so I find myself kind of being the defender of the prequel and sequel fans out there, when I'm not really even what I would consider a prequel or a sequel fan. I don't know. It was just, it has really kind of bothered me. And I've actually, and again, when the kind of a similar phenomena came through with Halloween Kills recently, again, these people are saying, boy, the plot of this one is terrible and the acting of this one is terrible. Again, and I would point you back to some of those other Halloween sequels. Some of the acting in them is terrible. The kills in some of them are terrible. The plot are razor thin at best. But you know what? I still enjoy most of those movies. I know Pip and I have talked on numerous occasions about the car salesman version of Freddy Krueger in some of those subsequent films. Those are really bad films, some of them, but we still watch them. We still enjoy them. Do we go back and rewatch them over and over again? No, of course not. I don't know. I just thought it was. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, am I off base? Is this And I guess the other question is kind of what's going on here. Is it that the fans of these movies are getting older and their opinions of what they enjoy is changing? Are they looking back with rose-colored glasses in history and overlooking some silliness of previous? I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's a nostalgia factor. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it has kind of reared its ugly head on multiple occasions, so often recently that I have kind of noticed it, and I kind of wanted to jump on and I want to talk about it. So, let's see what else is going on in the world. If you are a baseball fan, the Major League Baseball playoffs are going on right now, and they have been some of the best games to watch. They have been totally enjoyable, and I don't even have a rooting interest really in any of these teams. My Cleveland Indians are gone. They're out of the playoffs. They're not even in the Cleveland Indians anymore. They have played their last game as the Cleveland Indians. Next year they will become known as the Cleveland Guardians. So I don't even have a rooting interest. I guess I'm really either rooting against teams. I tend to root against the Yankees and those kind of things. But it has been some really solid, high-quality baseball, which is really what you hope for in the playoffs. And I guess it makes sense, right? Because once you've gotten to the playoffs, you have eliminated all of the kind of garbage teams. And as you go deeper into the playoffs, in theory, the game should get better and better. I mean, there's been a bunch of extra inning games. There's been a bunch of very close games. In fact, as I record this, I can only think of one blowout, and that, ironically enough, was last night, the Boston game. Boston put up, I think, 11 or 12 runs last night. So that wasn't a great game. But again, if you're a playoff, or if you're a baseball fan and you haven't been watching the playoffs, I would suggest you tune in because they have been really, really good. NFL football is in full swing. My Browns are kind of, it feels like they're back to being the old Browns. And I hate to say that. I looked at the injury list today, and it's like there's like 27 guys on the injured list, which, they're playing the Denver Broncos on Thursday night. And I'm kind of worried because we've got an awful lot of injuries, and I think it's going to be really, really bad, or it could be really bad. So, hey, that's about all I had. I just wanted to jump on, say hi, give you some thoughts about kind of movie fandom. And so, yeah, you know what? Let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear from you. Leave me a comment in the show notes on the website, on Twitter, Facebook, what have you. And let me know your thoughts. Who knows? Maybe I'm way off base. In any case, I appreciate you guys listening. We love the feedback. We love to hear from our fans. Once again, my name is Chewie. This has been the 411 from 406. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good evening, folks. Bye-bye.